What's up, magical humans? I am so excited to be sharing a little new moon and Lionsgate portal download for y'all today. This weekend is going to be very impactful. Now, lots of people don't know really like what's happening with Lionsgate beyond that it's 8/8, so it's August 8th. The number 8 often associated with infinity. It's eternal, it's very abundant, right? We lay it on the side. It is that infinite symbol. It's about eternal connection and oneness and the infinite nature of our own true spiritual abundance. So this portal, which happens to also fall on the new moon this year, is extra potent and powerful. Now, what's really going on with the Lionsgate? What is that? So throughout many ancient cultures, Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky, was actually considered to be our spiritual sun. It shines, there's a lot of scientific information if you really want to get into the density of the star and how Sirius B is a white dwarf, and all of these ancient tribes knew that it was a white dwarf, which is the kind of star that's not visible to the naked eye before there were any instruments or any ways of measuring that. Lots of very magical, mysterious information out there about Sirius. It's two stars, right? So one is large, Sirius A, big star. The second is not visible to our naked eye, Sirius B, it's a white dwarf. There's a lot of information out there about it. What's so interesting, it is the brightest star in the sky. It is, some say, 10 or 40 times, so somewhere between 10 and 40 times brighter than our sun, burning, blazing, illuminating, luminous. So 10 to 40 times more luminous, depending on who you're talking to, than our sun, with only a mass that's 3 times as large. So there's a lot going on up there. It's been considered our spiritual sun by many, many tribes. One of the oldest magical tribes on the planet, the Dogon tribe in Africa, they knew about Sirius. They knew that it was a white dwarf, even though you couldn't see it. They said that they had been visited by beings from Sirius that had taught them many things about how to read the stars, about cosmic and cosmological energy. And they were interpreting and utilizing astrological science before any other civilization throughout the world. This is an ancient tribe. There's still there's so much. We could just go into a full rabbit hole about this, y'all. Let's not do that right now. But their language is actually said to be the root of where Egyptian hieroglyphs came from. And when you really look into Egypt, and not just the Egyptologists that are trying to tell you that these temples are only 4,000 or 5,000 years old, there is a lot of information dating much farther back. Like, I went to a temple that's been carbon dated at 13,000 years old in Egypt, the Osirian. So there's a lot of magic here. And what's happening during Lionsgate is that Sirius, our spiritual sun, this star that has been traced throughout thousands of years, that was what the Egyptian calendar was based upon, that many of these tribes felt this deep draw and connection to and utilized it and were able to trace it and watch it flow throughout the sky. Many myths have been created about it, right? It can be seen as the dog. That's why Sirius Satellite Radio has the dog symbol, is because it's often called the dog star to the hunter that is Orion, right? This giant that we see passing through the sky. So that dog can also be seen as Anubis. And we know, many of us know, that the 3 great pyramids are lined up with the stars in Orion's belt. So these ancient tribes would utilize the stars as, the planets were the gods. That's why they have the same names. Jupiter is a Roman god. So is Saturn. So is Mercury. So is Venus. These are all Roman names for gods. And that's what we call our planets in the English language, right? We have these Roman-based languages, Latin languages. Even when we think about the days, I talk about this in Witch School. So those of you who are my students, you already know this. But Monday, moon day, Sunday, sun day, Saturn day, Friday, which in our Anglo-Saxon version of the word is Freya's day. In the more Latin languages, it's Venerdì, Venuti, Viernes, Venus's day. Thursday, Thor's day. Again, we get that from the Norse mythology, but the same as Jupiter, Jueves in Spanish. Miércoles, Mercury. That's our Hermes or Thoth, same deity. And then Tuesday in the Latin languages, Martes is Mars day. So all of our days, I went backwards on that, I don't know why, but all of our days are based on the names of the 7 planets. We have a deep connection to the stars and the star systems. We always have. So what's happening on the Lionsgate portal, not only is it Sirius, our spiritual sun, this dog star, dogs have been with us for thousands of years, right? So Sirius, which has often been associated with the goddess Isis from Egypt, and her dog, her protector, her guardian, Anubis, that black dog that you see, I'm like, actually, this guy right here, Anubis. This dog star, this god or goddess of this star, right? Especially if you had beings coming down from that star system who are like giving you mad magical information, you're gonna think that that person is a god. And they likely are in a different way, right? It's an expanded consciousness, it's the capacity to do space or time travel. I mean, like, that's godlike. That's accessing more of our gifts and our spiritual abilities and capacity. So we have these myths, we have these stories that are created from the stars, from the planets. So we're watching this giant cross through the sky. We're watching the dog, this brightest star, this sun, passing through with it. And what happens during the Lionsgate portal, it's actually several weeks when Sirius is closest to us and the sun. So we can see it better. And again, with the science of it, the electromagnetic pulse and the power and the magnetism that is occurring between Sirius A and Sirius B is massive, like unbelievable. White dwarf stars are incredibly dense, like 3 times denser than diamonds, right? Which is one of the densest substances that we have here on this planet. So they're like, there's some serious crazy shit going on there that I don't actually have enough scientific background to really give you guys the download, but I want to give you the energetic and spiritual significance of all of this. So Sirius is there from around July 27th to August 18th. So we mark August 8th as that central point. Numerologically, it aligns with the infinity. And this year we got the new moon in Leo on the same day. Very exciting. New moons are for planting seeds, setting intentions. I just talked about this on a live today on Instagram. If y'all don't follow me on Instagram, Mia Magic, same name. And we went really into this. It was so beautiful to talk about how these new moon energies, this is the dark time. So what do you do to a seed? You thrust it down into the darkness. Then you water it, you give it sunlight, hopefully eventually, and it needs air, but it's thrust down into the dark at its beginning stages. And it has to unfold, it has to burst through its own shell or casing, its own sort of, constriction or constraint by the earth around it, and it bursts forth and brings new life. So new moons are very much for that type of energy. And we align with whatever the astrological sign is of that new moon. In this case, Leo. That's why it's the Lionsgate. Leo is represented by the sun. So this is very much how we shine, how we give life, how we share life, how we connect to the life force within us, and how we bring it forward into the world. It's a very childlike sign. Some people think of it as like the performer, but it's really about how you're sharing the message that you're here to share on this planet. What you're here for, what you're here to give, what your medicine is, really. I always say this, it doesn't mean social media, it doesn't mean you have to have a big following and a big audience. It's how you communicate to your friends, to your parents, to your family, to your partner, to your children, to the earth, right? If you're buying tons of plastic, you're communicating to the earth. You're letting her know, like, sorry, I don't give a fuck about you, quite frankly. And we might be unconscious of that, but that's what the opportunity with Leo is how can I bring more conscious awareness to how I'm communicating with everything and everyone in every moment? How am I letting the life force of creation flow through me? Am I or not? Am I giving myself permission to stand? It's a very permissive sign, Leo. It's like, I'm going to stand here. I'm going to shine my light. I'm going to be who I'm meant to be. And this is not to intimidate or make inferior anyone else. It's to give permission. So I don't have a ton of Leo in my chart, but I can't remember if someone gave it to me or if I came up with it myself, but being a permissionary is like, instead of being a missionary and like spreading the word of God, I'm going to spread the word of the goddess, and I'm going to spread the gospel of permission. Be you, do you, create your magic. So this is a fabulous and powerful day, a very fertile day to be amplifying your permission to be yourself, to be planting the seeds in your life, setting your intentions, your motivation, your manifestation towards giving yourself permission to be all of who you desire to be. in how you show up in your relationships, in your career, right? Whatever that is that you're giving to the world, that's your life force energy. What you're doing for work or not, if you're raising children, that's you giving your life force energy to that end, to that intention, to that goal. I want to raise powerful, empowered, emotionally stable children, so I'm going to give my all to that. That's a very important endeavor. Very important. So this day, this new moon, Leo is, again, represented by the sun. It's a fire sign. It's about how you take action in that way, right? The air signs are the communicators. So Leo is a fire sign, but what fuels fire? Air, right? You got some little coals, that ignites them, that sparks them. So the way we communicate sparks the intellect, activates the fires of our passion, of our motivation, our drive, our ambition, how we desire to accomplish things, what we're willing, again, what thoughts we're willing to utilize. Like Leo in its shadow is like, look at me, like someone pay attention to me. Ah! You know, we all see little kids like that, right? That's why Leo's a very childlike sign. Then if you know, Leos, they are very challenging to get to apologize. If they're wrong about something, oh, Lord have mercy on you, because they are barely gonna admit it. My partner's got a lot of Leo in his chart. We gotta do like 3 hours of processing before he will finally admit that I was right, you know? It's okay, it's something that we get to work through. But we get to see how are our thoughts, what kind of thoughts are we utilizing, what are we fueling, and fire and air signs are opposing. So the opposite of Leo is Aquarius, and we're actually gonna have our second full moon in Aquarius at the end of this month, which is very cool. I'll do another video about that. But Aquarius is the higher mind. So if you're in the shadow of Leo, they're like, look at me, pay attention to me. You're not in your higher mind. But if you're connected and utilizing that polarizing energy, that highest mind, you can then amplify what it is that you're driven or passionate about sharing. Driven to share, driven to spread out into the world. The life force energy you want to give and allow other people to receive and have permission for and from in order to show up and shine more brightly as themselves. That's why Leo is represented by the sun. It's about how you're shining. And again, this does not mean social media. We get so attached to like YouTube and Instagram and like how many followers everyone has. That shit does not matter if you don't know how to shine, right? I've met a ton of influencers, let me tell y'all, like people that are like big, they got like hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram, but they don't know how to truly shine from the depth of their souls when you meet them in person. That's okay, but it takes work. So that's the great end or desire that we can utilize this Leo new moon energy for. It's like, how can I give myself more permission to shine? What's the story that's hindering me from shining? What's keeping me from believing it's safe for me to shine? Big, big, big questions. What would it look like? You know, Leo's very brave. It's the lion, right? Even though, let's be really honest, because I've been to Africa on safari and like male lions literally sleep 20 hours a day. And they fuck for a few hours and they feed for a few hours and they just like lounge around. And the female lionesses are the ones that are out there doing the hunting. And lions actually scavenge over half of their food. So when people say lions are the kings of the jungle, I'm kind of like, lions are pretty lazy actually, but okay, whatever. You know, like I'm not in charge here. I mean, I'm in charge here, you know? So to me, lions aren't the king of the jungle, but bless them. They're beautiful, the mane, like it's majestic, okay? The roar, like we're all into it, right? So the most important thing to recognize is that is the energy we're all attuning to and with, is that brave willingness to be seen in your daily life, to be seen and valued at your workplace for your skills and your gifts, to be seen and valued and appreciated in your home by your family for everything that you offer and give and provide, to be seen in your relationship for your love, your nourishment, your nurturance, how you show up, to be seen in your friendships. And that can mean, and is important for it to mean in a really good friendship, and I have definitely benefited from this myself, that your shadows can be seen too. And you can utilize this light, this very sun, life force, life-giving energy to shine light and illuminate the shadows. That's what a really good friend will do. That's the thing, it's hard to get a Leo to like see that. It's really challenging to get a Leo to admit that they were wrong, to apologize. They're pretty stuck in their ways unless they do really deep work around it, which is such an invitation for Leo, because then none of that like needing to be seen shadow, that kind of hungry, vacuous, like I need other people's validation, then that shit just floats away and they're just a channel for what is most important to be shared on center stage. So this portal, this weekend, I'm literally going to be doing a ritual of a ring of fire. We're going to light a hula hoop on fire with lighter fluid, and we're all going to jump through it like circus cats, and we'll also transcend the horrors that are done to big cats in circuses. That's like part of the ritual, and this stepping through this flaming portal. I'm personally very excited about it. It was my idea, and I was just like, y'all, this is what we're doing, okay? And my friend Layla was like, fuck yes, this is exactly what we have to do. We need a flaming hula hoop portal. I was like, great. So, you know, when your friends are just like with you on the vibe of something that's a little out there, potentially questionable, it's like no long robes or tutu skirts, right? Like everyone's in, you know, cat suits. That'll be more appropriate, right? So nothing lights on fire. Put your hair up, you know? But this weekend is such a powerful opportunity to step forward into giving yourself full permission to be the spiritual sun, to be the life-giving light. That's what we all get to do this weekend in this infinite, eternal, we're all connected, we're all one, we're all actually one with this planet that we've been desecrating and mistreating, which is why so many people feel horrible and are unhealthy and get sick and ill and die. And I mean, we're all gonna die, right? But bless it, my partner and I were just talking, you know, my grandmother died at 100 years old. She lived a great life. She was happy and she died in her sleep at 100. She just like went to bed one night and didn't wake up. There was nothing that like took her out. Goddess bless her. She lived fully. And that's what we're all being invited to do. So this weekend, as the spiritual sun shines, as you have this opportunity to shine, as that spiritual sun is closest to us, the magnetic energy, again, you can read more into the science about what's actually happening, the massive amount of energy that is occurring between Sirius A and B. And because it's closest to us, right, the way that the moon controls the tides, this energy is going to be affecting and impacting us. That's why this date is so powerful and so special, is because then we have that magnetic energy that's pulling. One of the last times that Sirius was closest to us was during World War II, right? Really seeing the depths of the horrors of humanity and also the fight for what's right. So this brings up big energy, big divisiveness. Look what's going on in our world right now. There's a lot happening. We're not in that 50-year cycle right now. The last time it happened was in 1993, so we're at about 30 years. But it's very important to recognize that there's this powerful magnetic energy happening between the two stars of Sirius, that dog energy. We've had dogs with us for thousands of years, that supportive man's best friend kind of energy, our spiritual sun, the light that we are. During Leo season, how we're meant to shine that light, how we're meant to show up, how we're meant to share, how we're meant to speak and express. Again, it's not a communicative sign, but it's that fiery passion with which you shine whatever it is that you're communicating, right? Which doesn't have to be with words. We can communicate with our body language. We can communicate with the way that we dress. We can communicate with literally just our energy and our radiance. That's that light inside of us, right? Then we have the numerology of the 8-8, that infinite eternal abundance that we're activating and actualizing here and now. We've created this Gregorian calendar, right? But it's what we operate on. It's how we function. It's 8-8 to us, right? Like the universe doesn't really care about dates, but that's what we've created collectively as a consciousness and a species. So then you got the new moon. The best time to be planting seeds, the best time to be stepping forward in new ways, to be activating and actualizing your intentions in the creation and the manifestation and the bringing to fruition of the exact life that you desire, especially during Leo season, how you desire to shine and show up. So this is going to be a super potent portal. I highly recommend that you do some kind of manifestation or visualization of the life that you desire. Really, a great way to do that is act as if. So spending your whole day acting as if. What would you wear in the life of your dreams? What would you do on the perfect day? Who would you connect with and communicate with? What would your life be filled with? What kind of foods would you eat in your perfect life? So my friends and I are going to do a whole day of manifestation, be together, be in ritual, do this hula hoop portal. Man, I'm super psyched about that. I'm gonna set up the ladders, and we're gonna jump through it like the cats, because I'm a big cat person. I always had an imaginary friend that was a tiger. Her name was Rainbow. Anyways, so I really want to also support the freedom of all the big cats that are tied up in the Russian circuses. It's horrifying. I can't believe that we inflict such slavery onto animals still, but that's another video. So really doing whatever you can in this moment to activate and amplify the kind of light you want to shine into the world, the kind of life-giving access to the universal energy you want to receive and then be able to reciprocate, to flow out, right? That's recycling. It's not just about taking, it's about how we're then letting it flow through us and how we're sharing it, right? It's like what we share, I'm sharing right now, right? But how we share what we receive, because that's what allows us to get more, right? Is that we give, we let it out. Endless cycle. And even that energy, that's the portal, right? That's what we're creating, is this portal energy. So amplifying anything to do with your abundance, anything to do with what wants to be really actualized, so taking action, right? So if you've been waiting on something, if you've been not doing something that needs to get done, this is a great time to do it. So jumping off the cliff, not literally, but taking the leap of faith and knowing that the net will appear in whatever this action is that you desire to take. I know this has been a lot of different information. I could have literally sat here and talked for 4 hours to all of you about the science and the ancient spiritual significance of what Sirius is, and then the new moon in Leo, and all of the numerology and all of the things. So I hope that this was a powerful and supportive microdose of all the information that you could desire or require in order to make the most of your manifestations this weekend. And really remember, this year, this time, this division, this chaos that we're experiencing, we all have a choice how we want to respond to this. We have a choice if we want to shame and judge other people for whatever their choices are. That's not helping us. That's not moving us in the direction of the kind of world that we as spiritually awakened beings, because I know if you're watching this, that's who you are. That doesn't help us. So let's really focus on who we want to be, how we want to show up, how we want to bring more love, how we want to take more action from love, from our light, from our true life force, our essence, in this world and for this world and with and for each other. So I hope you have such a blessed Lionsgate. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Again, I have all of the channels, Instagram, YouTube, everything is here, Mia Magic, MIAMAGIK. And I am so grateful for all of you who are here and loving this channel and listening to all of my magical ramblings, because this truly is the information that has given me the life of my dreams and a successful business. And again, for those of you who are interested in learning more, I have 2 online programs that are completely self-paced. You can do them at any time, Witch School and Witchy Rich, which is a program all about money. So you can dive so much deeper into all of the ways that we can interpret the language of the universe and then be able to communicate in return with it. And that's what this beautiful Lionsgate portal is a very potent opportunity to do. So I'm wishing you all so many blessings and, doing a little Katy Perry roar at you all. This is the eye of the tiger. Let's really focus on how we can shine and how we can share and how we can truly change this world. So bless you all. I love you. I'm Mia Magic. Thank you all so much and welcome to your most magical life.